Hey everybody, I did a video on autoimmune disorders not so long ago, and I had a comment that said, what do you know about autoimmune disorders? What kind of authority do you have to speak on such things? And it's a good question because I'm neither a doctor nor a scientist. Who I am is a guy who sold fermented foods for a living for 7 years and who did so through the farmer's market. So I've been active in farmer's market sales for 7 years, and I've had a lot of anecdotal experience with gut disorders and autoimmune disorders because those people come to me. They've heard that fermented foods can help gut problems, and a lot of these people with autoimmune disorders, significant ones, have realized it's a gut problem. And so I have a lot of experience just with talking with people with autoimmune disorders and trying different things, not medicines, not probiotics, not antibiotics, to try to figure out something that could help their situation. And a lot of times what I found out was my cure, fermented foods that were so good for the gut, were not that great for people who were in severe gut problems and severe issues with their digestion and their autoimmune disorders. And oftentimes their diets were much too restricted to even think about fermented foods. It would cause what's called die-off symptoms, where the good bacteria go after the pathogenic bacteria in the gut, but there's too much pathogenic gut bacteria. And so there's just a war that gets waged in your gut, and this can be very uncomfortable. So you don't want to jump into that. You don't want to heal something too quickly. You don't want to kill off the bad stuff too abruptly, and that's what fermented foods would often do for these folk. So I found myself recommending bone broth and small quantities of raw vegetables that you chewed up with your food to kind of help with the digestion and also the absorption and the body's recognition of these raw foods. And I found that that was much more helpful than saying, hey, eat a tablespoon of fermented foods. That was stage three. That would come later when they were feeling much better. But initially, I had this other thing. Anyway, the whole point is that, like, what I realized talking to a lot of these people is that autoimmune disorders were a huge deal. Gut disorder was a huge deal. It was everywhere. And that what I was selling, fermented foods, was just part of the solution. A bigger part of the solution was just a healthy diet, but that there are other more significant things that were going on as well. Our world has become extremely toxic, and a lot of these things are just overwhelming us, and our body's ability to remove these toxins it's been greatly diminished. And like all of these factors are coming together. So that's what I know about autoimmune disorders. It's just my anecdotal experience, but I think I have a lot of it. Once I got interested, I started talking to everyone about this, and kind of talking to my friends and family. It became one, kind of one pony Scotty, and that was all I was doing for a little bit because I was so fascinated by this. And so that's to answer the question. No expertise through the establishment, but I feel like I've given this a lot of thought. And I've talked with a lot of people. Anyway, thanks.